Feeling the world.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
The third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Only the people are poor. When people didn't have enough to eat, when people were driven to the edge of desperation, there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the bauxite. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped. They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're overexploited.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Lall Show on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. Thank you for joining us. Now, just a few housekeeping matters before we jump into tonight's program. The phone lines will be open and it's an interactive session, so you can call us on 226-7453 or you can send us a text on 622-222. We are also live on Kaieteur Radio's Facebook page, and right there you can drop us a comment or a question on tonight's presentation. Joining me this evening is no other than the man of the hour, Mr. Glenn Lall, senior journalist of Kaieteur News, Mr. Kimal King, and Mr. Lall's special guest, Mr. Bernard. So, Mr. Lall, with that very short introduction, I'll hand the baton over to you to begin your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Guyana. It's a pleasure once again to be with you, and I am happy that I can share the little that I know with you guys as to what is taking place in this beautiful country of ours. A man by the name of John Adams, the ex-president of the United States, once said, "Government is installed for the common good, for the protection, safety, prosperity, and happiness of the people, and not for the profit, honor, or private interests of any one man, family, or class of men." That's a beautiful quotation. It has a very deep meaning. Tonight, I want to focus many issues. I don't know if I would be able to cover them all, but I'll begin by telling you guys that an online news outfit has become the mouthpiece for our leaders in this government. The Vice President, Mr. Jagdeo, has been on that online chatter house called 24/7 last week and talked about how a financial feasibility study for the largest ever project in Guyana that Guyana will embark on, this gas to shore project, is a no-brainer. I dealt with that no-brainer on Monday night. If you didn't hear it, please go back and listen to it. Ashley Singh, Guyana's top financial guru, being on the same outfit to tell Guyana he eyeing the 267 million American dollars what we get from the oil last year to do massive transformation of Guyana. He said that on that same news outfit. Another financial guru, a man named Sesnarain Singh, the new boss of Guyana, being there on the same program but a different night to tell Guyana that sugar is selling half the price what it costs for produce. That is the respect these leaders have for all of you, for all of Guyana. When they wanted you guys vote, they were in your house, in your villages, in your region, all over the whole country, talking and begging y'all for those votes. Now, them talking to y'all from an online media outfit, 24/7, what some of y'all never heard of or don't even have access to. That's how them communicating with Guyana, all of us, from an online outfit. Them shame to face them own government media houses, much less the private ones like the Kaieteur News, the Stabrook News, and others. It's sad, very sad, what they're doing to this country. If this continues, I will let all of you know as time goes by. When leaders can duck and hide from you, the people, who voted for them in government or out of government, it smells and it tells a horrifying story. It also speaks volumes of who they are. You know what I mean. Guyana now stands as one of the richest countries in this world today as I speak, with this massive oil find. This oil we discover in 2015. And the entire government and the opposition is quiet. Everyone silent. You ever ask yourself why? Why? I read somewhere a man says, leadership is not about titles, positions, or flow charts. Leadership is about one life influencing another. Those words sound simple, yet it has deep meaning in life. Please go to bed with that and think about it. You have to. It means a lot how one can influence, the actions of one can influence another's life. Good night to all of you, and thanks for tuning in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:20 p.m. to listen to this madman that is speaking. Your vice president see me as that. He called me that. 26 years, this madman sat at the helm of the Kaieteur News, which has came from nothing and reached the top, and still maintains itself as the largest paper in this country. Over those years, me and my staff have literally been preaching to all Guyana about the pitfalls we must avoid and the dangers that lie ahead with the decisions being taken by some of our leaders. And the many mega contracts, deals that they have signed on to that did not benefit any of us. I have said on Monday night program that Jagdeo, our vice president, making excuses upon excuses to reach out to the local press, even his own government media houses. Now it seems his colleagues following in his footsteps, appearing on the online or website page 24/7, talking to overseas people who knows nothing about journalism or anything about what is going on in Guyana, he find himself talking to these people, talking to them, the foreigners, not me and you. Ashni Singh, the financial guru, went on that same outfit Monday night as I was delivering my program and talked to Guyana. You guys believe that? All the media have been begging them, asking them to come on, speak, have press conferences and talk, answer the questions from the journalists here in Guyana. And they don't find the time. But they could find the time to go on an online media house where none of us or many of you don't have access to talk the Guyana business. This is one of the things he said. He said how we have to live with the terms of the one-sided contract and take what we get from ExxonMobil and all the oil players. You guys hear me clearly? Let me repeat. He said we got to take the terms we signed with the ExxonMobil contract and take what we get from it. You ever hear such madness or insanity? Hey guys, before this guru tried to see how we could get a better deal from these lopsided, one-sided contracts and make us all rich, this fool is telling us, take what I'll get. He said we get in revenue. This guru does not care how much money we get in. The guru doesn't understand it's just a few pennies we get in. This guy cannot see how blindly all the oil people are robbing us in the oil sector. He cannot see that. He just happy with a few cents Exxon throwing at us. You hear these jokers, these financial gurus, they call themselves. He didn't see it fit to talk about closing the many loopholes, such as the claims for the cost of producing the oil. He didn't speak about Guyana don't have full cover insurance in case of an oil spill that can land many future generations in financial and social ruins. A matter of fact, this guru said he is ignorant of everything. Now, you guys tell me, we have the worst oil contract in the history of this 21st century, and you leaders saying, take what I'll get. Man, something got to be definitely wrong with these people's heads. Them wasn't telling y'all this during the election campaign. They was telling y'all a different story. They were telling y'all how much we getting robbed by the one-sided contract when the coalition government was in power. Now they are in power, and it's the same old story all over again. Tell me, brothers and sisters, where are we going? Where are the leaders taking this country? Where the wealth is going? In whose pockets? You tell me. When I think of these things, guys, I can only conclude three things. One, they don't care for the people. They don't care for me and you. Two, them busy filling them pockets with this Ponzi scheme, with the mega oil deals and contracts. Or they are a set of complete fools, morons and idiots, or all three? What do you think? The phone lines are open, and I will stop to take your calls. As a matter of fact, let me give you my cell phone number. 624-6456. You can text me if you don't want to call, so that I can respond. I can able to tell you in different languages what is playing out. Today I had many calls and text messages that I responded to. I thank those people. They're smart people. They understand what is going on. And I know many of them are listening. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your compliments too. The next thing the Guru Ashni Singh said on the same chatter house that raised my eyebrows, and it should also be of concern to all of you, all Guyana, is this. He said how government is eyeing the 267 million US dollar what we get in 2020 from the oil. He said they will use it. They will use that money to transform Guyana. Wow. Brothers and sisters, this $267 million is equivalent to 53 billion Guyana dollar, which is just a drop in the bucket as compared to the 100 billion debt in the 2021 budget. So what is financial guru transforming Guyana with? I ask all of you and him. He and anybody with an ounce of brain knows that it can't do anything. It can't transform nothing. And yet, he is not concerned with this lopsided contract, this one-sided oil contract. But he done eyeing up those few pennies for transform Guyana. I do hope when he take this cash, they use it to build 5 or 8 internationally branded hotels with casinos that will surely bring profits, instead of allowing the foreign people to take over the hotel industry too. That more songs like transformation or transforming Guyana with those hotels. We wouldn't have to give the foreigners land, tax holidays and concessions to come here and put down hotels to make big profits from our country and walk away with it. Let's take over the hotel industry by ourselves. It's not a big deal. This is ABC for our people, for many of our people. I am ready to build them free. Don't pay me. Just pay for the building materials and the workers. I will supervise and run the project for free. Just let me know when you guys ready with that, and I'll do it. That 267 million, let me say this to all Guyana. Excuse me, I can build 8 Marriott-sized hotels, more fancy than the one built in Kingston. I am ready to put my money where my mouth is. Let me repeat my Monday night question to all Guyana. What transformation have you seen for the last 30 years? With all the billions that pass through their hands, you tell me. Or let them tell us. Sometimes I just have to smile when I hear some of our politicians talk. You guys see where they're coming from. Is every single cent these guys can put them hand on they will grab onto it, and they will say they're using it to do this and to do that. Transform Guyana, saying he's gonna do it with. He's gonna take the 267 million US dollars to do. All the billions they have been collecting from our taxes, gold, bauxite, timber, rice, fish, and other minerals. What have they done for this country that show transformation, guys? You tell me. Maybe I'm not seeing too well. Has anyone's life changed in the last 30 years? Can you please call me and let me know? I want to hear. Hear this one now, Guyana. Is there any project what both governments did that any one of you can honestly say is massive transformation in this country? Or was it massive transformation for the politicians, them friends, families and cronies? You answer those questions. I need to hear. I need to hear. Go around and check how they live. Go around and check their international bank accounts. And you will understand what I'm saying. The money guru said, all the money so far from the oil sale and from the royalties have gone into the Natural Resource Fund. He said we have not used any money since we got into office. I had to laugh when I heard that. The coalition didn't use any too. So I don't know what you're showing off about or what you're talking about. I really don't understand. But here the kicker in this guy, guys, he said there may be need to use the resources in the near future. Near future. I wonder what future this man talking about. Them already spent it on the debt them took on we heads in the 2021 budget. This is the same financial guru, Guyana, who also said, Guyana not worried about any China debt trap. Remember I talked about the Belt and Road Initiative on Monday and how China entrapped many, many countries with loans that the people couldn't pay back. And they go in and take over the projects and even take over the people land too. Yeah. The guru is now telling us he not afraid of any loan from China. You know, sometimes I wonder if these fools would indebt themselves this way. But they have no problem putting us and our future generations in a debt crisis. Here the sugar boss. The sugar boss will take over. He been writing for years about how fixing Guyana economic situation is easy. He has been writing in all the newspapers, all the years I know him. His letters, you would believe that he is better than Bill Gates when you read them. You believe that he is better than Donald Trump in managing assets and doing business. He even better than my fine friend, Winston Brasington, through his writings. I mention better than Winston Brasington because this man played and continues to play a great significant role in this country. He was running NISIL, and after government change, he went to live in Miami. As soon as government changed back, he's back here running the gas to shore project. They announced his name, that he's the head man. And for the longest while, he hasn't held a press conference, and he have not said publicly a single word about his gas to shore project. I just said that to make sure you keep them all in your thoughts, in your minds, and in your prayers. These are the people we have making the decisions and running the main corporations in this land. Says Narayan Singh lived all his life overseas, fixing Guyana's financial woes in his dreams. It got to be, he was dreaming when he said it. He now realized that the sugar factory is a junkyard. He getting paid millions every month from an industry that will never survive. It's a dead industry, and nothing and nobody can resurrect it. Not even Dubai, who say we have the sweetest sugar on earth, that they're eyeing. The whole world, guys, the entire world is producing sugar at less than half the price what Guyana is selling for. So you tell me, how these people really reviving sugar? He tell Guyana on that same 24/7 online chat room that he had to sell the sugar half the price it costs for produce. That's the respect these leaders have for all of you and all of Guyana. When they're on a foreign online chat room to talk to Guyana. Everything, guys, they put on becomes caca. Little baby mess. Them know sugar is dead. Them know we can't compete with the outside market, and yet them pushing this industry. It's like you making egg balls, costing you $10, and you selling it for $5. Which person in their right mind would run a business like that, guys? Yes. Yes. Only these financial gurus we have here in this country would do that. Even a cake shop seller or a market vendor knows to run their business better than how these guys running this country. He now making excuse upon excuses, saying them give you a junkyard for fix, blaming the coalition, who at least had some brain and shut down some of those factories. When the PPP them mess up them own factories, forget money from China for build a white elephant, scale down. This is the same 200 million I talk about, loan from China, that is sitting on our backs, in which we can't even pay the interest. You hear that, Guyana? Hear more. The PPP only want to restart the sugar industry because it was their cash cow. Enough billions going in there year after year. And what have they done with it? You can't ask me, you have to ask them that question. Where is this modernized sugar industry that they talk about? Check the hundreds of billions they spend there. So I am saying now, why continue to spend more billions on a dead industry? Why don't you take the money, guys, leaders, and pay the sugar workers a salary to stay home? If you so love them. But they wouldn't do that. And you guys don't know why. You gotta read through the lines. Just the other day, this sales guru come in and spend billions to buy tractors that can be sourced for half the price. I think they bought 44 tractors at $33 million each, which carried the bill to $1.4 billion, which is $7 million US dollars for 44 tractor. Guess how much is the salaries for the entire Gaisuku? 3 million US a year. So that 44 tractor, money where I spend, one might not even plow a quarter acre of the cane field. That can pay 2 years salary for all the workers. They buy tractors. And that's only tractors that I put down here. There are several other things they spend. In 2020, Gaisuku received $5 billion US dollars, which is equivalent to 20 million American dollars. Guys, that 20 million American dollars is equivalent to 7 years salary for all the Gaisuku workers. So you can take the money and pay the workers to stay home. You don't have to open the sugar factory and lose more. You understand what I'm saying? Where is the money going? Where is that money going? And why are we allowing them to take the tax-paying dollars in that vast amount and set them bailing out Gaisuku? Guys, you got to tell me, man, because these things doesn't make sense. That is why every year they keep pouring in billions and billions. It's another Ponzi scheme they've been running all these years on us, the poor people of this country. That is the only one. That is only one of the many Ponzi schemes these leaders got running to fill them pockets. The drugs, medication, I'm talking about pharmaceutical supplies, is another one. That one is bigger than Gaisuku. That's a bigger Ponzi scheme. Man, I think I gotta do 10 separate programs for that one alone. NDIA, sea defense, road projects, building projects, and many others. They are all Ponzi schemes these leaders running in this country for benefit their pockets and their friends' pockets. That's how this country has been running for the last 30 years. Did I hear the telephone ringing? No, I am not hearing the telephone ringing. Hear what these gurus are accepting. Guyana to pay for train our people how to regulate them. And the money it costs to train them, we will have to pay them back through oil. Through the oil profit. You ever hear things like that? It's like GRA asked Glenn Lall to train officers, his officers, the tricks of the trade in the newspaper business to watchman me. What do you think I can do? Train them everything? I got to tell them, how are the thief? You ask me, man. Answer me that question. Or how are the thief? Wow. These are your financial gurus. Before we get help from Trinidad, before we get help from Mexico, even Suriname, who've been in the business for train our people how to properly regulate the industry, we depending, we asking Exxon, the scamp, the crook, to do it for us. This is one of our stories we have going tomorrow. The phone is ringing because I want to hear them. Take them.
Good evening, caller. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio. Hello? Oh, I think we lost our caller. So before, just a reminder, before we take the calls, a reminder of the number 226-7453. You can also text us on 6222222. Just remember that when you're calling us, can you just turn down the volume of your radio set before you start talking, and please remember to be respectful and to convey your point very clearly. Over to you, Mr. Lall.
Take the call.
Oh, we have another caller. Caller, good evening. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm a regular listener of your program.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm a vision impaired person, and I'm a pensioner. I want to know, Ali said, when he gets in power, he's going to give the pensioners $40,000 a month. Is it the 4,500 make up the 40,000?
How much?
Can you repeat that, please?
Ali said when he gets in power, he's going to give pensioners $40,000 a month. Is it the 4,500 make up the 40,000?
I'm not sure.
All right. Look,
I am not sure.
all right. I think I heard you said President Ali, when he got in power, he would raise the
Pensioners' money.
to $40,000. My dear, all these are promises and talks coming from all these politicians. They're all promises.
Yes,
But I
get
can tell you very clearly and very honest that if Guyana can only get 10% royalty from our oil and taxes, all the pensioners, they can receive no less than $200,000 a month. The public servants, the police, the army, every single worker salary can be tripled overnight if we only get 10%. We're not asking for 20 like what some other countries get. 10% royalty and our fair share of taxes. Man, this country can become greater and richer and more nicer than Dubai overnight. No, you don't laugh at it. It's the honest truth. You understand? This is how, with all this wealth we have, this is how we have our citizens living with less than, how much is it, the pension now? $25,000. Wow. How can you live on that? Kimal, how can you live on that?
You can.
Right.
All right. Hello, good evening. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio.
Hi, good night, everybody.
Hi.
Mr. Lall, for me, I know that you is not a madman. And I know everything that you are saying, for me, I would be in the dark. And I know what you are saying is the truth. I want to tell you about the sugar industry. The sugar industry, I think that when you're talking about it's useless then that they invest with the sugar industry.
Yeah.
I think many people were against you because you got to look at it. Many couple thousands depend on the sugar industry. And when you're talking about just paying work on to stay home, I think many wouldn't believe what you're saying. But when you work out that math, it could be, but people would say it's impossible for paying somebody just to stay home, right? But what I think what I think those super salary, what they should have tried to do is bring down the cost per US cent for sugar, like the super salary.
My friend, hold a second, please. Hold.
Yeah.
Hold. Sugar is dead in Guyana, and what they're doing, they're just upkeeping that project for two things. They want to show their supporters that they are fighting for them, and they are going to give them jobs. Okay, so it's a game politicians playing with them. The coalition went in there and shut down the factories because they realized they're losing money. I just said the money they're spending in 2020 alone, the 20 billion they spend in 2020 is 7 years salary for the people them. So why would you want to put the people them to work when you can take the same money and pay them the salary? That's how simple this thing is, bro.
Yeah, I understand.
It's like if I'm going to spend money to send you to work, and the work you're doing, I'm going to spend $10,000 a day, and you're working for $5,000, and you're bringing in nothing. It better give you the $5,000, man.
Yes,
listen, Guyana has been doing something similar over the years with the Linderners. We have been subsidizing the Linderners with generation, electricity. You understand? Because the people couldn't afford it. And just to sustain them and give them lights and stuff like that, we, the citizens, used to help them pay for their light bill. So it is possible, and governments all over the world does that. That's how a country is run. Not all of us were blessed or are living in societies in which we can fend and fight for ourselves. So the government has to, when they collect their revenues, they have to spend it wisely for all of us to benefit.
Yes.
So the sugar industry is dead. Why? And it's not even something we should be talking about, man.
Yes. And then the other thing, you're talking about name a project for 30 years, from 30 years. For me, it's clearly seen that only thing that I could see that a few schools were built and so forth with. I know they had a time when they said a school built somewhere in the interior. When the name was Green Heart. Green Heart was hard work.
My friend. My friend. Schools, the money they spend on schools for the last, let's just put 3-4 years ago, can build all the schools we have brand new and build another set alongside them. So you can't be proud of things like that. You can't be proud of a man, say he go to buy he fixing a car, a $2 million car for $4 million. How can he be proud of things like that? And that's what they have been doing. This is how both governments have been running this country. You don't want to hear the money that they're spending in the police force or in the army or in every ministry on repairing vehicles. The money they're spending to repair vehicles, we carried a story of just a few months ago, in which the money they spend to repair vehicles can buy double, brand new. So how can we be proud of these things?
All right, we have another caller.
Take the call.
Caller, you are tuned in to Kaieteur Radio. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Am I on air?
Yes, you are.
Yes, I heard Mr. Glenn calling somebody a guru. I'm not sure who he's referring to. But the guru is another guy who was the head of the estate in Scotland. I hope they start to plant some cane there, because when you got an estate of that magnitude and you want to restart it, right? You have to start planting cane from day one. Where are we going to start planting the cane?
Well,
telling about the bridge going across to Suriname. What I suggest them to do, if we could plant some canes in the ocean, because that estate, when it starts going, You understand?
I
Then we
get-
can lead a lot of Canberra.
I get
And
you.
Mr. Lall laughing there. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? I know
Yes.
he's drinking the whiskey there and that thing there, so. But the right man, that's not the guru. The man that he calling the guru is the student of the guru.
Right.
Mr. Lall have to get his things right, and then saying that he want to build 8 Marriott. Whatever happened to his friend Marriott in Church Street when you bring all of the money is circulating in this country? So when you bring 8 Marriott to get what they call it, casino. So where we getting this money from? We gonna start back the trade what the other day only one of them and shoot their game. Right? What kind of trade you want to start back here? 8 Marriott Chacha?
I was.
Where we get them money for for supply them Marriott there?
All right.
The terms are,
All right, let me answer you. Let me answer you.
We didn't close off Corona yet.
All right, let me
We
answer
can't
you.
deal with that, Daddy.
Let me answer you,
One
Chacha.
at a time, because no sense we running in the 160 million what we spend on the feasibility study for the bridge. What happened to that money? Are we going to build another one now? With another feasibility out, Daddy?
I hear you. I hear you.
You catch me?
I hear you. Can I speak now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I was talking about the $267 million that we got from the 2020 oil. They say they want to take it to transform Guyana. It's in that sense I was saying, let's use that money to build international hotels. Do not allow the foreigners, because all the hotels that are going to build at Ogle, the new city of Guyana, it was given out to foreigners. They are coming here to build hotels because down the road you would need hotels, because Guyana will become the next boom of this region. A matter of fact, you may have more foreigners in this land than Guyanese. And those are the financial players. They wouldn't want to come stay in a house like what me and you live in. They would want to stay in a well-secured environment like international branded hotels. I am saying instead, you allow them to come build it, for them to make money and walk away with it, with the hotels. Let us build the hotels so that we can be the source of the oil money, and left the oil money right here. And that 267 can build 8 hotels with casinos. Casinos is not something for you to worry about. Casinos is in every hotel across this world. And where we are heading, every hotels will need one of them.
All right,
All right.
Mr. Lall, just a quick announcement for the listeners and the viewers. We are having a bit of technical difficulties with the radio broadcast, but we are working assiduously to get that back on track. So in the meantime, we'll take a very quick commercial break. Do stay tuned.
worst oil deal in the world. When I think about it, my blood does boil. We must stop this stupidity, or we'll end up in poverty. I call on all Guyanese to show solidarity. Guyana, time to unite and do what is right. Demand better oil deals. This is a national appeal. Drill it, baby, drill it. Guyana oil deal sweet. Pump it, baby, pump it. Guyana oil giving away cheap. Take it away and store it till world market price go up. Then you throw back and you laugh because you don't pay Guyana off.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burbies 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Guyana, this is a hijack. Highway robbery. Two-way blocks. Oil black, the heavy load. Oil black, the heavy load. Oil black, broker, we back, oh Guyana. Oil black, broker, we back, oh Guyana. Kaieteur and Kanji blacks, they give away free. More billions of US robbing the treasury. Them kind of junkie business they doing to we. Our national resources gone to friends and family. You give a Mercedes to a man with a bicycle who can't even drive and don't have a license. Then they turn around and say, Guyana, you owe we. First bill 100 million in our currency. When I ask Robert, he say, no, not me. The people who get the black, them I never see. I see Robert, boy, what was on your mind? He said, don't ask me, it's the liars who sign. Uncle Donald, shame on you. I never thought you would have done that too. Trotman is where you're there. Trotman, what you gonna say? Arman is where you're there. Arman, what you gonna say? Apnu and EFC and the PPPC in saying nothing to we. Somebody tell me how could this be? As a Guyanese I regret, like we ain't got nothing to forget. Guyana demand your share, or your pocket would go bare. Jack Dio stop the talk, it's time to walk the walk. Oil black broker we back, oh Guyana. Oil black broker we back, oh Guyana. It's where we leaders who represent, like all of them gone silent.
Get up, stand up.
Drill it, baby, drill it. Guyana oil deal sweet. Pump it, baby, pump it. Guyana oil give you away cheap. Take it away and store it till world market price go up. Then you throw back and you laugh because you don't pay Guyana off. When we get the news that they found oil, all Guyanese hearts was filled with joy. Some even predicted another Dubai. But how we leaders dealt with it made me cry. Civil servant salary could have doubled. Senior citizen pension quadrupled. COVID relief 200,000. What they give to we blow out like nothing. This is not about politics, but them bad deal got to fix. We taking a lot of licks, more US dollars in the mix.
All right, welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned. Before we went on that break, we were experiencing some technical difficulties due to a bit of low voltage, but we are back on track. And let me just remind you guys that the interactive session is still ongoing. You can call us on 226-7453. That is 226-7453. And we already have a caller online. Caller, good evening. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio. The call cut. So our technician here in Kaieteur Radio told me that we are now allowed to take WhatsApp calls. So you guys can now call us on 622. You can call us on WhatsApp on 622. If you can't get to call us, you can also text us, send us a text, a WhatsApp message, or a straight text message on 622. You can also send us your questions and your comments on our Facebook Live on Kaieteur Radio's Facebook page. So we have a very special guest with us here, Mr. Bernard, and I'm sure he would have some questions for Mr. Lall. So over to you, Mr. Bernard.
Glenn, good evening, everyone. Glenn, many people have been telling me to tell you to be careful. They say your newspaper has been attacked and workers killed under the PP. They threw grenades at you under the PNC. They say they have never seen anyone expose all the shady deals that you are doing, and they are worried about your safety. What do you have to say to these people, Glenn?
I have answered that question so many times.
I think you have to remind them.
I have got so many calls, and people from time to time would ask me the same question. Glenn, aren't you afraid? Aren't you fearful? Like I said many times before, that any business you go into, there will be some amount of fear, and you have to work on the fear to overcome that. Anything we do, if you ask President Ali, he still has so much fear in him being the president. Ask some government people, ask the opposition. The leaders themselves are fearful when they come. But having spent 26 years in this media outfit, went through all these terrible things, where they burned down my printery, they killed my employees, they threw a grenade at me, they sent threats. I have grown to overcome that. Fear is not within me anymore. It's nowhere. Had I feel.
All right, we have our first WhatsApp caller. Caller, good evening. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio.
Good night.
Hi, good night.
Good night. Hello.
Hi, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
We want to make a comment. Good night to everybody.
Yes.
The politician them build Maria Hotel. They use taxpayers' money, and you Guyanese people can't go spend one night in Marriott Hotel. Then I get US dollar if you go spend one night there. If you go from the hotel and hello?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Yeah. If you go from the hotel, say you go Guyanese dollar, you can't go there, go spend on. Poor people can't go there and taxpayers' money. Poor people money make the hotel. only foreign people can go and sleep there in the hotel. Then I realized that Guyanese people, a lot of poor people in this country are living. Yeah.
Well, I like my friend, but let me tell you, although our taxpayers' money build the hotel, they also have private investors, and not because your money helped build the hotel, you can go there for free. There's a cost to stay there. You understand?
You pay for the Guyanese, US dollar, you got to get to go spend a night there.
No, they accept Guyana dollars. They accept Guyana dollars. You can go and swim, you can carry children to swim there too. They accept Guyanese dollars to pay. I take my grandchildren there every now and again to swim, and they accept everything. All right, do you have any other questions? Thanks.
All right. Congrats to our first WhatsApp caller. Just a reminder, guys, that you can now call us on WhatsApp to 6222222, and you can also call us on our landline number 226-7453.
I was about to finish answering the question that the gentleman
Mr. Bernard.
asked, and people been asking. Like I said, when you're in business, you have to overcome the fear. Fear you have to overcome, and I have overcome that.
All right, we have another caller. Caller, good evening. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio.
Good evening, and to everybody.
Hi, can you speak up a bit?
Yeah, good evening to Mr. Lall and the panel.
Uh-huh.
I was listening to the program, and I heard laughing about the cost of building schools. The cost is 2 times the price sometimes for building something in this country when government is building it. And they talk about transparency. That I don't understand if Jill, they believe that when they come at the project site, it means that they canning the people by letting people believe that is the meaning of transparent. I don't understand which transparent. When you say transparent, it means that you got to understand how much you're spending and why is the reason you're spending so much to build a school when an ordinary man is building a property almost identical to a school and it costs about 1/8 or let me say about quarter the price for what they're building the school for.
I hear you, but listen to me.
Yeah.
They are transparent in these projects. They are telling you that this glass, they buy it for $10. They're telling you that. But you and I know that the cost is not $10. But they have other tricks in the game within the contract institution. What they do, they give these contracts out and they tell you plain that we throw it out and people bid on them. They're not telling you that they're selecting the players to build it, in which those players are charging double, sometimes triple on these projects. But they have an easy defense to say, hey, well, we throw it out there and these are the bids we got, and we took this and we had to go with it. That's their excuse. I have heard that excuse many times. So the transparent, they're there. They're bound to let us know. But you and I know these projects are costing 3 and 4 times. Years ago, I never forget the NIS building, the flat building in Berbice. They renovate that building and they said it cost $6 to $9 million. And they said $7 million was for the roof, just little couple things, sheet and the roof alone. And $7 million at the time could have given you a bigger building and a brand new building. We carried that story. I remember myself and Adam Harris at the time drove up till to Berbice to see that building.
Yeah, that was scary.
And 4 houses away, there was a brand new 2-story building. Was selling, the complete building and land was selling for $45 million. So we understand what's playing out. And it has moved on from one government to the other. Nothing is changing. So unless we come and expose these things, unless the nation understand what they're doing with our tax dollars, we will not bring about changes. Hence, I step on this radio to have this type of frank discussion, to include all, to educate and also educate myself, so that we all could stand up and speak out. That's the only way we can bring about changes.
Mr. Lall, I must compliment you. I must compliment you on the work you're doing. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
You know, yeah. I was listening to your program some time ago with this guy when he was making comments about you was selling snake oil, and at the same breath, he contradicted himself by saying that Mr. Lall has helped the worker them build house. So I think Mr. Lall know good economics.
Yes,
you know
yes. I grew up in business. I grew up in Stabrook Market, so I know business.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, the guy understand. He understand what's playing out.
Okay.
Many people understand. Yes.
Let me post a question, Mr. Lall, that we got from our WhatsApp. This person is looking at how Kaieteur News has been militant during the 2020 election saga in fighting for democracy, and they're asking you, how does Glenn reconcile his supporting role then in bringing about a change in regime as opposed to his current opposition to what the government is doing? How does Mr. Lall...
I really don't understand. I don't really understand when he says my support. I did not, the newspaper did not support any change. What the newspaper stood for and will continue to stand for is democracy. And what we were doing there was standing to protect and preserve democracy, my friend. Our role, my role, is to expose, is to educate, is to entertain Guyana with what's taking place.
All right, we have another caller. Caller, good evening. Can you just
Hello,
load
good
it?
evening.
Hi, can you hear me?
Good evening.
Hi, yes, you can go ahead.
You getting me clearly?
Yes, I'm getting you clearly.
Okay. Good night to you, Mr. Lall and his team.
Good night.
I'm calling for Region 2, Pomeroon, Upper Pomeroon. We listen to your program often.
Thank you.
And I must say, very revealing and very shocking also, because, we voted for these people. And these same people are just going and doing all sorts of wrong things, doing these bad contracts on our behalf. They are untrustworthy. They are very greedy, I must say. Yes. Lately I read in the newspaper, Kaieteur, that the PPP government has reduced the information on the revenues and so forth on the oil project.
Right.
And what is your take on that?
Kimal?
Okay, I'll go first.
Yes, Kimal, you answer that.
Thank you, sir, for that question.
That's a beautiful question.
So we noticed when the former government put out the oil report, they had several pages of detailed information. And not to say I am giving the former government a gold star. The former government, they were not very transparent in the management of the oil sector, but in this single regard, we noticed that when the PPP put out its oil report, the fifth oil report, it was so little information, and it was extremely disappointing.
They reduced.
So we only got blank figures from them for the total number of oil produced and the total number of funds that we got from the sale of each 1 million lift, while the report that was prepared by the previous administration got us details like how much oil was left in the facility, how much was flared, was there any spill of oil, so we know exactly what is happening with our oil, so we can keep track of every single barrel to make sure that it has not been stolen by any oil company or any other company. And that is what the public needs to be able to do. It needs to be able to monitor every single barrel. And that is the risk that we take when we allow the government to give us a report that has vastly reduced results. When we're not able to keep an eye on the numbers, we don't know what's happening with our oil and gas.
Exactly. What Kimal said in a very simple nutshell, the government gave us a half report when they should have given us a full report of everything. So that's where we stand with that. You know something?
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
I'm just going to give my view on the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, pertaining to this same sugar industry business.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in Barbados, when I live in Barbados, I'm from Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
And in Barbados, they shut down the cane program going on here. So now, lots of Guyana, big Guyana, trying to still continue the sugar industry. And Barbados had to shut down they give it to like small businesses who own like small estates.
Exactly.
So those who's going over here.
Yes, my
and
friend.
And they're trying to continue with it.
Yes.
And it don't make no sense.
That's right, because sugar is a burden to the state. Sugar is a no-no. Sugar is a lose-lose business. Nobody in this region can resuscitate. Even Trinidad shut down. Yeah, Trinidad closed off completely. Everything.
They sell their own to Guyana. They share to Guyana because it don't make sense.
All the Trinidad sugar plant are if you see them today, they're not junkyards. They have become filled with overgrown bushes. Thanks. Any question?
No, I just like the government to do a little better pertaining to this oil thing too, where they should give an update every month on this oil.
Yes, they are giving reports, but they are not giving the full report. And we have asked them. A matter of fact, they made a correction after we would have carried that story, in which they say, well, the media have the right to ask them what they want to know.
No, they should come out and give it.
They should, right, exactly.
Willingly.
Because we carried the story, they said, no man, you guys can send us an email and request what you need to know. We shouldn't be doing that, you know.
The president run the country.
That's right.
The ministers, them who have to give it out.
That's right. Why do you want to hide it? Throw it out, man. Let us see what's happening. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you, guy.
All right, then. Good.
All right, thanks.
What I've learned from covering these transparency institutions like the Natural Resource Governance Institute and the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative is that the gold standard for transparency when you're managing these sectors is that there's a certain amount of information that the government should willingly give out.
Correct.
The people should not have to go and beg for the information.
Correct.
Because sometimes the people are not necessarily knowledgeable about the industry, and so they may not know what they're supposed to know.
Correct.
It is the institution that's knowledgeable has to say, okay, this is important for the people to know, for the people to keep track on.
Thank you. Before you take a call, I just want to let you know, I've been getting these reports, and people have been calling me, begging me to talk this story on the radio, because the government need to step in and do something about it. They said a few oil boats, oil vessels, to be precise, they said 3 and 4 times a week, oil vessels are going up the Demerara River full with fuel, and by the time sunrise in the morning, the boats either disappear out the water with all the fuel offload. The people keep saying that if 1 or 2 of the fuel boat remain there, by the time GEA and the GRA meet there 3/4 of the fuel is hauled off. So what we are getting is barely the little taxes from what is left in the boat. And when I heard that story, I'm like, wow. They called and they said it's foreign nationals involved. They're not saying this is Guyanese. As a matter of fact, they're saying it's the Chinese involved.
The Chinese have the big things for.
Right? And boats going up there all night, 3-4 times a week. And where all this fuel going? Is these people hedging into our daily business transaction? It gotta be. Because I don't know that all these fuel are being granted concessions for. So the big question here is how all of this can happen so often, every week, month after month, and the authorities and telling us nothing. What is going on in this land? You understand? Mm-hmm. Because fuel is big money making. It's 50% taxes. And that's a lot of money. This country is using up a lot of fuel these days. There's tremendous activities going on in this land. And that is very simple to know. The Guy Oil only has to tell us if their increase of usage of fuel has gone up. So we'll know who is providing the other service. I'm going to check on it and I'm going to report further on this matter. Yeah, you have any?
Right, Mr. Lall. At this point in time of the program, I'll ask you for your closing remarks. So you don't have any calls coming in.
Why are you asking for closing remarks?
I have to ask you for closing remarks.
So you finished the program. All right. Guyana, you're living in a beautiful country. A very beautiful country. And it's a very rich country. I think all of us can be and should be living extremely happy with the kind of resources we have. So please stay tuned every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and get yourselves au fait, because at the end of the day, if you don't know what you own, you would not know what is there for you that can give you that beautiful life you so deserve. Man, we should be living like the Kuwaitis. We should be living like kings and queens, all of us. So, have a good night, and may God bless you guys all.
All right, with that said, Mr. Lall, I'd like to thank Mr. Kimal King and Mr. Bernard for their contributions to tonight's program. And I'd like to thank all our viewers and listeners and all the people who called in and made their contribution to tonight's program. Do join us again on Friday, same time, same place, for another edition of the Glenn Lall Show. Have a good evening.